cities that they're going to be playing, having all of that encompasses, at least for me, I'm not seeing that that's out there. Even if they do have it, it has, we don't know that there is, and that even makes it more of a chance that they don't have it. And I think that's also why they can't come to an agreement.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think the first part is you got to have an owner that you can trust. A commissioner you can trust. Basketball truly trusts Adam Silver, Bettman, who went from being absolutely the worst commissioner, worked behind the scenes with everyone and put something together, and he's rising up and not looking like a buffoon. And in football, you could be the commissioner, I could be the commissioner. They just treat every player like a commodity, so it really doesn't matter. If we're just being honest, you're a commodity in football. We're going to pay number 46 $800,000. We don't care what the name above the number says. That's how much number 46 gets paid. And if number 46 doesn't like to pay, we'll cut him and bring in another number 46 that will like to pay. So that's the difference in football. Everybody's replaceable. They could care less. So baseball, though, had a chance. And they always give up. They don't get up in the middle of the night and make that run. They just lay there. and that's what happens to them.
Yep.
And this is why we have players, and players are smart. They know you can't get 114 games in. Like I said, all you gotta do is look at the calendar. If they start playing in July, August, September, if you played every single day, that's only 90. At best, that's 90 games. So then you'd have to play half of October, which means your playoffs wouldn't even start till the end of October. And players don't want to play doubleheaders because they'll start crying about, how many pitchers do you have, and they're trying to throw our arms out, and they're trying to do all this. You want to start the baseball playoffs right during the heart of when football season is about midway through the season and getting good. That's what you want to compete against? Players knew that. There's no way.
Yeah. Not a chance. But somebody that does have a chance is the NBA. So we have that they're going to start July 31, if I have my date correctly, to start what is the remainder of the season. You can say there's going to be 22 teams that will go to Disney World, the best place in the world, Orlando, to finish off the season. So, and it's going to go through October 12th, and each will play 8 regular season games to find out the final seeding before the actual playoffs start. So, right. And then with that, it's going to be 16 playoff teams that will be joined by the Pelicans, the Blazers, the Suns, the Kings, and the Spurs from the West, and the Wizards from the East to catch the 8 seeds. So we're, it seems, that's gonna work out. They have a plan. We're gonna get to see what's left. And for me, I think at least for me, because maybe for you too, I'm a Suns fan. They have a chance.
They have a fighting chance. That they do have. They have a fighting chance. It's a fighting chance. It's a puncher's chance.
Mm-hmm.
So
would they finish out the season? There's teams that even you probably wouldn't even get to see, in the playoffs. So the way that they did this, of course, they did it by what record they have to determine this. But hey, I'll take it. And if the Phoenix Suns, I'm optimistic, also being a realist, but they do have a fighting chance.
Hey, that's all you can ask for, right? That's all you can ask for is a fighting chance. So we'll
what do
see.
You think about this?
Okay, so I'm happy to see basketball back. I truly am, and I'm happy to see that there's an opportunity for the city that I live in to have an opportunity to even go and play in the playoffs. Considering I've been covering that team forever, and the last time they made the playoffs was the year before I started covering them, which is starting to make me think I'm a jinx. But that's a whole other story. So, but I personally think this season is tainted, and I really wish they would have started anew, because the last games were played back in March. They're not going to play again until July. So I just think 4 months, 4.5, almost 5 months before you resume the season, and the season is going to run all the way through October, and then they're going to do a quick rush in season, do free agency, do the draft, get a couple months off, and then now start planning for the next season, which will probably start in January, more than likely, and then run through June. So the calendar is all off. And to me, the season is just lost. Now, I understand the NBA wanting to finish. I understand the TV deals. I understand the contracts. I understand the game delivery. And I understand why they're doing it. I really do. And if I was in that position, I probably would do it too. But to me, this feels like a disjointed, quick run-up to a playoff that doesn't really feel like it's going to be a playoff. Because last season is so – I mean, we're hearing reports that KD and Kyrie Irving may come back. They were scheduled to be full participants in practices in July during the off season when they would, start getting back ready. That's how long we've been off basketball. So I just think it's something doesn't feel right, and that's all I'm saying. Something doesn't feel right. But it'll be good to see hoops. So I'm kind of torn that I want to see basketball. I just almost wish there was a way that it wasn't still tied to the season, because it just doesn't feel right.
Yes, I do agree there. Like I'm glad that NBA was able to, of course, work something out and be able to bring back what's left of the season. And I understand them wanting to finish it off. The thing which you mentioned too, for me, my concern is, yes, it's like tainted, and would have left the season the way that it was, and just create a plan for starting a new season, because we're not going to see summer league, which would be happening soon, if that was the case.
I guarantee you, I know that would have been happening soon.
Mm-hmm. So, probably would have just been best to do that. And then, being that with the new plan, they're going through October, so it overlaps with the regular season. So I'm interested to know on what plans they have for restarting the season. Being that they're not going to have summer league, how they're going to work that out. Is that going to happen, instead of it being summer, is it going to be a winter league? And maybe, having the regular season start in January after the holidays.
Yes.
And how that schedule is going to work to get them back on track for the following season after that. I feel like everything is just going to be so rushed. And one of my concerns too is about players feeling, just overworked, drained, pushed to their limits. Because it's bam, 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 they're really not going to get much of a rest in between it all.
Yes, I agree with you. I think what's going to happen is I don't think there's going to be a winter league. I really don't, because it's not a necessity. Summer league, and I'll just be honest with you. I love summer league. I've been going to summer league forever. You know that. I mean, hell, all you gotta do is go to look on my Twitter or Instagram, and you'll see pictures from summer league dating back forever. So I'm a summer league guy. I've gone as a fan. I've gone to work at, a year every single year. But it's not even the same anymore in terms of Summer League because I'm going to date myself just a little bit. I remember when John Wall first came out, everyone went to see John Wall play Summer League games because he played in more than one. Zion played in a half of one game. John Morant didn't play at all last year. The year before that, I think the top guys maybe played one game and no more. So I think it's starting to change anyway from a business aspect in terms of watching the top guys play for their new teams before they're technically part of the team. So I don't see it really doing anything other than being a financial miss if they don't do it. My concern would be the quick start of the next calendar because I think that they would have to start in January. And maybe they push back to February, and instead of running the season through June like the finals usually end, maybe they push it through July. But we've seen them do a 50-game schedule before and a strike-shortened season. So I don't think that's something that they're necessarily against doing because we've seen it happen before. But I could see them pushing back to July and maybe even February, and maybe this is something that I don't know if it's been leaked or if we've got a Woj bomb on this. If they're going to play through the fall, I think it would be smart for basketball to not even start until after the Super Bowl. Because if we're really going to be honest, no one's going to watch it. No one's going to watch games 3, 4, and 5 of an NBA season when we're right in the midst of the NFL playoffs. Now, one thing they could do, because the NFL only plays obviously on Sundays, maybe they start as a run-up to the Super Bowl, but it wouldn't surprise me if they waited till after because you could still get 50 games in, push everything back until the beginning of July, have your draft at the beginning of, early part of July, and if you still wanted to have a summer league, you still could push that to the end of July instead of the first part of July and let it run through August because your veterans aren't playing anyway, and then still get your season started, at the end of October for the following year. So I think there's a way. And there's one thing that I will say, though. If there's any league I trust that will set it up the right way, it is the NBA.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, you just I think you just nailed it and how it can work very well for the NBA, being that they've already figured, a comeback and how that's going to work and possibly, work it out through the remainder, at least the next couple of seasons. So I think it should be assistant to the commissioner. What do you think?
I think they should. I think I'll do it as long as they pay me. But I'm not cheap.
Not for free.
They got to pay me. They got to break off the. I'm like a corner store reverend. I like the stuff that jingle, but I prefer the stuff that folds when that collection plate comes by.
I love it. So with.
Hey, listen. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So this is so far off of what we were talking about, but I want to ask you if I saw Drew Brees this morning come out and apologize yet again. Do you accept, and let me set this up for our listeners. Drew Brees came out again a couple of days ago and said he will never, be with disrespecting the American flag. He had grandfathers that fought for the war, and when it comes on, that brings back memories. When the national anthem comes on, it brings back memories to him. There are times he tear up, and he will never, basically believe that you should ever kneel during the national anthem because it disrespects the flag. Now, obviously, long story short, Colin Kaepernick said 1,000 times it has nothing to do with the flag. It has to do with this. The military man actually said to him, "Hey, don't sit down. Actually kneel, and you'll be fine as long as you're kneeling for to show reverence, yada yada yada." It's a better stand. It's a better look. So we've already gone through all that. So Drew Brees came out during an interview with Yahoo and restated, and a lot of his teammates, a lot of people in the NFL, a lot of people outside the NFL came down really, really hard on him and said, you still don't